Have you ever heard the statement, money doesn't buy happiness? Well, where that comes from is that people chasing financial wealth often get robbed of one of the other of the four types of wealth, right? As they're chasing that financial wealth. If you don't know who I am, I'm Nate. I'm your life coach. Make sure you shop at Ensorsale.com. Pick up a cool inspirational t-shirt today. Use code FitfutureMD for 20% off. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with somebody that needs it. So, basically the four types of wealth is financial wealth, social wealth, which is status, time wealth, which is freedom, and physical wealth, which is health. And normally we rank these financial, social, time, physical. But the truth is, the first one is really time, because you cannot get time back, right? So that's why there's such a huge push to get out of public school, because public school is basically taking time wealth away from you. You're sitting in school till you're 22 years old if you get a 4-year college degree, when really you could do that by the time you're 15 or 16 years old. And so that's taking that time. 6 years is a long time in the grand scheme of things if you only live, especially average male only lives to be 74 years old, right? So, you know, that's a long time to waste in your life to really only have 50 years, right? But basically I'm in this video to talk about, like, what is time wealth, what are these wealths, and how we can shape our action plan, because I'm a life coach if you didn't know, but to shape our action plan where we're not losing anything in these four types of wealth, that we actually have all of these, right? So how do you lose time wealth? Well, you lose time wealth by overworking 60, 80, 120, 150 hours a week. Number two is you have a job that you're always on call, right? You're getting calls and texts after hours with no additional payment, that kind of thing. You have a job where you travel all the time, right? So that travel salesperson that goes city to city selling stuff. And most of the time people end up in what's called golden handcuffs, right? You've heard the saying of, how much money did they pay you to give up on your dreams, right? But they get a high income salary, and then they can't give up the high income salary because it's keeping their status up, but they don't have the time and their physical health, the time to use the status, or time to enjoy the status, or their physical health is being deteriorated, right? So how do they deteriorate their physical health? Number one is a sedentary lifestyle, right? Humans are definitely not meant to sit all day. We're meant to be nomadic, walking around, that type of thing. Number two, you have a job with excessive stress, right? So there's always some kind of fire you have to put out. Obviously, if an owner of a company is going to hire somebody to deal with that stress instead of them, then obviously that stress is more than you should take on, right? But I digress on that. Obviously, when you're traveling all the time, you're on call all the time, you're working 120 hours a week, you're going to have a poor diet and poor sleep, right? So that's going to take away from your physical health, right? Or your physical wealth. Also, you see this a lot, especially New York on Wall Street, big Fortune 500 companies. You see stimulants and substance abuse, all right? Because they need that extra kick to keep going, to be able to work those 80 to 120 hour weeks while they're having a poor diet, while they're not sleeping well, you know, so that they can keep that, you know, say when I was riding the LIR every day, the Long Island Railroad, into Manhattan, you would basically see that all around you. Like, these people were zombies, right, going to work every day. And but they had the financial means to do whatever they wanted to do, but they didn't have the time wealth to be able to do any of it, right? Because they were traveling an hour to work every day, an hour back by train. And so they already commuted to the train too. So however far they had to commute to the train. and you know, and then they had to commute throughout the city wherever their job was, right? So that's physical wealth, right? That's been taken away by having financial wealth, right? Now, that being said, there's also another one, which is relationship wealth or social wealth, status wealth, basically neglecting family because you're after a higher income, right? But you also see this in where people are having to work multiple jobs to get by, right? So the other side, the other end, on the poor end, right? On the high end side, you also see what's called ego and isolation. So that basically, like, you know, you poor people won't understand what I'm having to go through to get this, to make this happen for our family type thing. And yeah, I can't come to your birthday, but guess what? You're getting a nice birthday present and you're living in this beautiful house, that type thing. And then also when you're in a business or you kind of get into what's called a transactional mindset, where everything has to be a transaction, right? You have to be getting something to have a relationship with somebody. And that's obviously unhealthy. That keeps your relationships or your social wealth decreased, right? Because everybody has something to give, something to learn from, right? So the biggest point of the video is, how do we fix all this crap, right? How do we fix where we have all four of these wealth? We have financial wealth, social wealth, time wealth, and physical wealth, right? So number one is self-recognition, right? We recognize that we are stuck chasing this financial wealth and giving up these other three, right? Number two, we're going to use affirmations to change our mindset on this topic, right? If you don't have affirmations, you can pick mine up in the description for free. They're 100% free. I don't even take your name or anything to get them. That's how important I think affirmations are changing your mindset, because everything starts with mindset in life, right? If your mindset is not right, if it's been programmed that this financial wealth is the only thing that matters, then all these other three things are going to be gone, and you're going to be just like Steve Jobs and regret your entire life, right? Because you're ate up with cancer. But I digress on that. And then number three, we're going to create an action plan to get you off of this, right? To get you out of the golden handcuffs, right? And let's say the way I've done it is investing, right? I've taken part of what I've made and began to invest away every month, automatic, you know, a portion, so that I become financially free. And right now I'm sitting at lean fire, which means that I'm currently making my entire salary in the stock market every month, right? So we're going to eventually get to full fire, where not only am I making my salary, I'm making my wife's salary, I'm making an extra salary, and that'll all be there in financial freedom, right? But that's how you do this. You make an action plan to do it, right? You change your mindset, and you change your skill set, you change your habits. I'm Nate. I'm your life coach. If you need help building this type of lifestyle, right, where you have social wealth, time wealth, and physical wealth, also with financial wealth, then hit me up in the DM on Instagram. Email me at FitfutureMD@gmail.com, or send me a text, 919-480-1370. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.